Alright everybody, welcome back. As you can see, I got a little bling installed here. That's not permanent, not going to keep it that way. I just needed a little shot in the arm. So obviously I got the boot lid buffed out, a bunch of other stuff going on. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. So I took the buffer to the boot lid, came out pretty good, better than the doors did. I essentially just spent more time. The swirls are definitely coming out, and I kind of decided to go a little bit further and put the hinges on and put the letters on, get some bling on there. Looks okay. I'm happy with where it sits. Now, my concern is that I'm starting to get indications that I'm going to have some adhesion problems on the body paint, and that's making me a little nervous. So putting this hinge in, I got a little close to the hole, and I chipped it up pretty good. You can't see it's underneath. I got these little spots right here. I got this spot going on here. Now granted, everything is around a hole, and I wouldn't expect the paint to be incredibly strong there because it is on an edge and everything. But again, it's just making me a little bit nervous that I might have issues. But for the most part, like I said, I'm happy the way the boot lid came out. Definitely 10-foot paint job, maybe even 5. Right now, I'm bouncing between playing with the door and playing with the windscreen. Trying to get the rubber on the windscreen, just the screen itself. The glass is kind of kicking my rear a little bit. So I think I'm going to skip over that and come back to the door, but we'll see. All right, well, I guess that ended up being a little bit easier than I thought. I think maybe that I had brought the seal from up in my attic, so it was probably still a little cold. But anyway, I used that Sil Glide stuff again that I like, and you just work it around. Now that the rubber seal does have a side to it, if you can see in here, it's got those grooves in it. That's what's going to go onto the windscreen frame. And on the front, this groove here, that's where that chrome, this is plastic, but that's where the chrome finishing strip goes. So you got to make sure that you put it on the right side, obviously. So I'll set this aside before I even come close to putting the windscreen in. I've got to get the dash on and the frame, which is sitting over there. My garage mate's going to get pissed that I have it on top of the Z. Challenge here is to get, obviously, the dashboard on there properly. And then talking to a couple guys on my favorite forum, they essentially said it was a wash between putting the windscreen in with it, the frame on the bench or the frame on the car. Given that, my preference is going to be to do it with it on the car, because I think it'll be, the only thing I'll have movable at that point is the windscreen, not the frame. Also, like, it would be kind of rolling around and moving on me since it's not perfectly flat. So I decide that I'm going to do it on the car. The only issue that you potentially run into is it gets pretty tight down here, and with the rope that'll help me pull the rubber through and lip around on the windscreen, but that's definitely for another day. All right, playing with the dash. I already found problem number 1. Obviously, you got the windscreen frames here. If you look at the dash, obviously way too short. Oh, you probably can't obviously see that. The holes for the windscreen, if I can get it in camera, one goes there, the other one doesn't line up at all. So that's unfortunate. But it appears that the ashtray is correct. The hole for the ashtray, looking at where this bubbles out here and tracing it across. So I'm relatively confident that at least that's in the right spot. So what I'll do is try to figure out what can be adjusted where. Looks like this end is good, but I got to go longer on this one. One of the guys that watches my channel, and if you're a Triumph guy, you probably have seen him, Chef Tush, made the recommendation to where the windscreen goes down in the holes here, to put anti-seize on there, provide some lubrication on, and to prevent it from seizing up. Great idea, thanks a lot. I will do that, but for now, I'm going to just use that KY, or not the KY, but the Sil Glide, 40-inch slip there, to give me some lubrication to try and get the windscreen down in there, because that anti-seize stuff gets a little unwieldy. All right, the trick about this, and I'll show you, is this bottom seal heel wants to roll under, as you can see it, and you just have to slowly but surely work it across, and eventually it comes in. I replaced this seal a long time ago when I first got the car. The windscreen rubber was completely shot, like the windshield. I pushed on it and it came out almost. So I pulled the windshield. This is the first time the windscreen's going to go back in, essentially, since I own the car. But that bottom seal is a real pain in the rear to get in there properly. But until you do that and get it kind of sat in there, the windscreen doesn't, the frame doesn't ever really come down all the way, and you can't get these bolts under here tight until that comes through. As a matter of fact, this bolt over here isn't even in a position to reach it. I can't get to any threads at all. Right now, my major concern is this, where the dash is over top here. Just kind of going around and marking that out. I think I'm going to be okay in here. You don't see any dash overhanging there. It does come up a little bit more. So I think if I mark the dash there, that's going to work. It appears that it's working on the inside there. Yeah, so it looks like it's working for the inside of the car okay. This is going to take a little bit of work in here to make this rubber seal kind of make that corner. That's going to be a little tricky, but I should be able to do that. But otherwise, I think it's going to be okay. So I don't have too much to cut here. I'm going to go and mark that. And then I don't think I'm going to mark anything outside of that. And then obviously all underneath where it's blocking the gauges, I can't have that. But I think if I go around with just a razor knife here, this stuff will come off. I'll cut that and get that to fit flush. Same thing over on the other side, just with a razor knife. I think it'll come in. Fish it around a little bit more and play with it a little bit more and see if I can get it to seat a little bit better, I think. But for now, I am not going to go any further with trying to cut anything or do anything. I'll revisit that this weekend. I don't have a whole lot more time left here tonight, so I don't want to get into that and then mess something up. What I did here is just essentially come from the top and just take a razor knife and cut until I ran into the dashboard metal. So I got that one in, I got that one in. You can see here that the dashboard hangs into that pretty good. I don't really plan on using these things all that much, but I'm probably going to cut some of that back. No vinyl overhang here, but I do have a little bit on this side, so I'll be looking at cutting that a little bit off. And everything pretty much lines up. There's holes under here. This is where obviously the windscreen attaches here, and the tonneau cover, if you have one, will also clip onto there. I didn't cut the front off. It's pretty stable like this. This is what it is there. But I will glue it, but I'm pretty happy with the stability on it. So unfortunately, you're way over there because the battery on my camera has just died, and I got to keep it plugged into the wall. But anyway, I got the dashboard here, and it's in place properly. I've obviously taken the windscreen back off. I'm kind of hemming and hawing about the proper way or the best way to glue it. And I think what I'm going to do is just use these vent movers here as placement and just pry back the lip here in the front, spray, put it back down, use a little bit of heat to help it conform in there, and then call that good. So this entire pad here is only going to be held down by the vent movers and also the ashtray, which actually goes in there pretty tight. So, but I'm not real worried about that because they're also going to have the windscreen frame on top. There's also holes in here where the windscreen bolts in. So I'm not really concerned about this thing moving. My larger concern is in the front here, the big overhang that I've showed you. And I'm going to just have to kind of go and cut my way and spray a little bit of adhesive and just kind of work my way around that. Thankfully it is underneath, and it'll be up on a vertical surface, but up high, or horizontal surface, but up. You'd have to climb under the dash to really look. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead, I think, and spray this down and get it adhesivated. And hopefully I won't regret that. I'm going to tape this off just for incidental overspray of the adhesive so that I don't make a mess.
Of Quicken Loans.
All right, so this is that mastic stuff or whatever it is that I was talking about. And now that I've got the dashboard down, the windscreen had this between the seal and the dash. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it out on the cardboard here. I'm not going to use it today. I want to see what it looks like and see if that's something that I actually want to use. That's very interesting. Almost seems like I need to stir it. Cleans up with soap and water though, so that's nice. So I'm just going to leave this here, give it a day or two to do whatever it is it wants to do, and then I'll come back to it and see if this is what I want to use. Got the dashboard down, a couple pieces of bubble in it, but nothing that the windscreen when it comes down won't fix. You can see I got a hole here and a hole there and a hole over there, and what they do is they line up with the holes here that keep the windscreen down, so that'll work. And again, well, it's actually a big bubble there. Again, you can see the big flap that's going in the front of the dash. I'll just have to come through with the razor knife and cut that down and take care of that. So that's yeah, that's going to work for now, I guess. All right, everybody, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Happy holidays and a happy new year to everybody. Thanks so much for your support over the past year. Obviously, still some work to do, so I'll have to bug you for several more months yet, I'm sure. Please, during the holiday season, keep those that are serving the military overseas and that may be deployed in your thoughts. Those guys are out there defending our freedom. So take care. Cheers.